Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first Q&A answers type video after viewing the season finale of The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 16, the big finale, Conquer. Okay, so I wanted to post this one for you guys today because, of course, we did, the review, we did the predictions, we did the top 5, but I just wanted to do a video quickly answering some just random questions because eventually, after viewing the finale, people are not really going to be talking about The Walking Dead much more, especially during the summer and stuff. I will be, a lot of you guys will be here, but a lot of people won't be, so I decided I would just, I'll do this right away, and tomorrow I'm going to do my death predictions for Season 6, so just a heads up for that for you guys. If you're looking forward to that, that'll be posted tomorrow for you. So I'm going to work on that after this because it takes a few hours to make that video, and I have to think hard about, what they're going to do and that kind of stuff for Season 6 and who I think is going to survive, who's long-term, who's not, and do our predictions based on that. So I was going to do this originally as a things you missed type of video, and spoiler warning, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen, the Season 5 finale yet, you'll want to watch it before you watch this because we're going to ruin things. But I can't do an entire video, so I'm going to turn this into half and half things you missed, half Q&A. Because there really aren't that many things that they put in the episode that aren't evident to, every viewer. Like, as the viewer's watching, are there a lot of hidden little things, or, what's the case with this? There really weren't that many in the finale because, of course, we have, a long wait for Season 6, and, even though there was a few things, and we're going to touch on those and then get into the Q&A, there weren't as many as some of the previous episodes we've had that had a lot more little hidden Easter eggs and messages and things like that this one didn't really have. That said, there were a few things that some people may not have seen. There was a post-credits scene, nothing huge, but it was there. Basically, what it was for anyone who missed that was you have Michonne, and she goes to put her katana back on the mantle where Peter had stolen it from, and she decides that no, I'm going to actually wear it, because even though she feels like she's more at home in Alexandria and they can kind of go back to normal life to a certain extent. Her and Rick have disagreed on that quite a bit, that Rick feels they can never go back to kind of a normal life with the zombie apocalypse. She felt like she could at Alexandria, and now she's realizing she can't, so she takes a sword and keeps it with her. Also, so no one else can steal it and use it against someone else, obviously, which we've seen happen now. Which I thought was a cool twist from the comic book series. So it makes sense for her character that she's starting to see Rick and the others' point of view, that even though they're part of this community now, you still have people dying. Noah still died. You have Aiden who died. And, now we have Peter and, Reg who was killed. And, she needs to keep her sword with her at all times, especially if she's going to be a constable. Things are going to be happening. She needs to have it there. She needs to have it ready. So I thought that was a decent scene. Maybe not a great post-credit scene, but it was okay. The other one, of course, was with the wolves and the guy who was wearing the orange or red, however you want to see it, whatever color you think it is closer to you. The wolves had, slit his throat and basically kept him. And I wanted to touch on this a little bit, and I'll do another video probably later this week or next week, and we'll spotlight and we'll talk about what we know so far about the wolves. But from what I've seen so far from them, they at least they're the leader guy, or who seems to be the leader out of the pair, with the long hair, with the teeth, and the W. The one who's crazy, who's talking to Morgan about, this being the closest thing to movies and stuff like that. It seems to me anyway that they have some kind of developed like an OCD. You remember how Morgan had kind of that OCD that he had to clear? It seems to me the wolves have developed this OCD, like a collecting type thing. You could argue that I have that to a degree too with collecting Walking Dead stuff. I feel compelled to collect all Walking Dead stuff, even shirts and everything. But with them, I'm getting into a little bit of the psychology of them here, and something that a lot of people may not have missed is why they go to such an extent to keep these zombies and mark them and everything. It seems to me that they scavenge to such a point where they want to take everything from people. So even as what he was saying to Morgan, they want to take everything, even him. They want to take all his stuff, every drop of food, every drop of water, whatever he has, and they want to take him. and they, to a degree, are collecting everything they can find and kind of like pack ratting it and storing it at that booby trap location. Maybe they may have other locations too. We'll have to see. So even when they kill the guy with the jacket, the orange or red jacket, however you want to see that, and they let him go inside, and you see at post-credit scene, wolves not far, which means that these are the same guys who had attacked Charwilt at the beginning of this half season, episode 9. So they even collect the people that they find. They even collect the zombies that they find. Now, some we've seen have the W's kind of wandering out there, and I think you can understand that as, well, you can't, you're not always going to be able to control all of them when you have like 100 zombies. Even if you've got a speaker system or whatever, things are going to happen, and sometimes you're going to lose one. But they take effort to collect everything they can and use it to some degree, even if it's a zombie to be used in a booby trap or to their own devices. Maybe we could see them attack Charwilt with a herd. Maybe they could lure their zombie herd out. And it seems to me like the psychology is they have this OCD that they want to collect everything. At least that's the best idea I can get so far of why they set up this huge booby trap and stuff, is because they don't want to waste anything. When they scavenge, when they want to take everything a person has, including them, and even use them to a degree after marking them and everything as one of their almost like zombie pets, kind of similar to what Michonne had, but in another fashion, rather than defensive, in an offensive way. The governor also used this to a degree. So we're seeing something kind of similar to that as well. So I want to put that in there for you guys. Not really a thing you missed, but we'll talk more about that when we get to a spotlight on the wolves. But my understanding of that so far is that they have this craziness, because obviously they're crazy, that they have to store everything. They have to take everything from people when they take them. So there's that. Now, the other thing that a lot of people were talking about, we got some questions here we'll review in a minute, was the actions of Nicholas. Now, that scene was a bit weird, and I want to go over that for everybody. What happens is you have Glenn who's sitting there. Nicholas, is at the side of the building. He looks over. He sees Glenn. He makes sure Glenn is there. Then afterwards, Maggie comes, and they tell each other they love each other, and that they're talking about the Rick situation. And then after Maggie kind of, walks away, Glenn looks over, and he views Nicholas going over the fence right in the spot where he would be visible, meaning that it seems to me Nicholas knew Glenn was there, and he either went to climb it at that moment because he thought Glenn was either preoccupied, or on the flip side, he knew Glenn would see him and that Glenn would chase him, and then after he did, he baited him out there and he shot at him, right? And he shot him. So was this an assassination attempt? Was he attempting to lure Glenn out and then kill him? Seems like it. Some people think he's part of the wolves. He was saying at the end there that he didn't belong there. I don't belong here. This kind of thing. That's a strange one. I don't think he's a part of the wolves, and the reason why I say that is because the wolves do pick up Aron's backpack that he drops, and they see the pictures, even picture of Rick and Carl in there, and the others from Alexandria from the community. So now the wolves, it seems, have found out about it. So it seems like they, prior to this, didn't know about it. So I think we can also rule out the idea that one of them is Alexandra Davidson. It seems more like that's not the case, and that these are two completely different guys, not connected to Alexandria, because it looks like when he's viewing the pictures, this is the first they're seeing of the Alexandria safe zone. So so that's kind of where I'm thinking along the lines that Nicholas is probably not part of the wolves. He's probably not anything to do with that. He's either suffering from some kind. He's maybe trying to leave because he doesn't want Rick and the others to be here, and he feels like he doesn't belong there, and he doesn't deserve to be there after Aiden's been killed, and the others may be dealing with some guilt. Either that, or he was trying to bait Glenn out and shoot him. Leave it in the comments below what you guys think, what you think the psychology is from Nicholas's point of view behind it. Was he intentionally looking at Glenn prior to bait him over, or was he doing it because he was trying to climb over when Glenn wasn't looking? To me, if he was trying to climb over when Glenn wasn't looking, it would make sense that he would climb over behind one of the houses, right? In a spot that wasn't in Glenn's viewpoint. So it almost seems like he did it on purpose, right? Based on that. But that's the only thing I can think of. This is a debatable one, so write in the comments below what you guys think, which way you see it. And remember, no one's stupid because they see it one way or another. We're speculating right now. We don't know for sure. But let's do some analysis and talk about what we think. At least my opinion is he kind of did it on purpose. Otherwise, he would have climbed over in another spot when Glenn wouldn't have been able to see him, in point of view, because he knew Glenn was right there, and he went right there in between the houses, right? So at least that's the way I see it at this point, and then I don't belong here. So that's really it. I mean, in terms of things you missed, deliberate things. There's that. Now, there was some stuff on Talking Dead, which some people have messaged me about this as well, too, and we'll go through this in the Q&A questions, that, Morgan Lenny James was actually on Talking Dead, and he had actually stated that Morgan has actually found, kind of inner peace at this point, and he doesn't want to kill anybody. Now, I read the first scene in the intro that he put the wolves in the back of the car and honked the horn because he wanted zombies to come, but then closed the door afterwards, which doesn't really make sense, right? Because why would you close the door if you wanted to kill them? He could have just killed them right there with one of their knives, or he could have, just honked the horn really loud and left the doors open, for example. He actually did it to, according to Lenny James, the actor, so it's not really arguable. He says the idea is that, Morgan has found peace now in that he was basically saving them. He was honking the horn to see if any zombies were by, close the door, and if any zombies were to come up, he would have killed the zombies prior and let those guys go, basically. So he didn't want to kill anybody, which does fit with right before they attacked him, when they were starting to attack him. When he says that there doesn't have to be any ugliness, and he's even willing to give one of the wolves his stuff, but not him. I'm sure he would keep his stick probably because he needs that to defend himself. So he seems to be a man of peace now. So it's funny how him and Rick have, since season 3, Rick has changed, almost in the opposite, and Morgan has changed, almost all the opposite. He was so twisted and crazy and messed up in season 3. Now he's found some kind of form of inner peace and seems very at peace and calm within himself. Plus, he also let us know that he's had some, bow lessons from one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought that was awesome because right away when he was doing it, I was like, oh, that's Turtles, man. And I don't know if I said that or I noticed that because of the stance or because of the style or just because that's the only thing I've seen, a bow used in before, and that's the thing I equated it to. But it's funny that he says on Talking Dead that he actually was trained for 3 months, and he would go I think he said once a week or a few hours, twice a week or something. And one of his coach was one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's pretty awesome, right? I think that's awesome. So so I just wanted to put that in there for you guys. I thought that's kind of funny that I saw that, like in the review I mentioned that, but I didn't know that he was actually trained by one of the Turtles. So I don't know if that's some kind of a connection between his style or if it's just that's the only thing. I mean, it's not very often you see someone use a staff in movies and stuff. It's not used that often. Maybe some rare kung fu occurrences and stuff like that, which nowadays there aren't too many kung fu movies anyway. But pretty awesome stuff. So anyway, loved all of that. But yeah, so I wanted to put that in there too to let you guys know that according to Lenny James, he was actually saving them. He was not trying to kill them or to lure zombies to them. And then he grabs this feather thing that's at the front. I don't know if it's the keys or what it is, but he grabs it. And that, I don't know why. I haven't heard that explained yet. I don't know why he grabs it. I don't know what the purpose of it is or why. I don't know. I don't even really know what it is, to tell you the truth. It's like this little feather thing hanging from... I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. A lot of these things are still unknowns, right? So... let's get into some questions. First one's from the Dawsman, 1998, and he says, Q&A question. Trev, hope you do my 5 I sent you. Well, I'll maybe over time, man. I'll at least do this one for you, okay? But we've got a lot of questions. I've got over 100 last night, probably 1,000 within the next few days. So I got to be picky, and I got to choose just certain ones. Question is, do you think Daryl and Aron would have made it if Morgan didn't show up? So yeah, the question is, would Daryl and Aron have made it out of that car if Morgan did not show up? That's a tough one, man. That's a really tough question because we've had occurrences like Tyrese where he wasn't even wearing long sleeve. He just had wasn't Tyrese just wearing short sleeve and didn't even have a backpack on, and he had his hammer and he was fighting through a huge swarm of zombies himself, and he was able to make it. Was not bitten in the process. Now, Daryl has his leather, he has long sleeve on, that kind of stuff, and he's got the hair, which kind of masks his face so the zombies won't see him. They know he's there, but even when he's running by in that, they may not go for it because he's kind of covered, right? It's not entirely camouflage, but let's include it in there. He's got his knife, he's got his crossbow, which won't do him much good in that case. But as we saw before too, he's pushing through and he's kind of going down so that they can't bite him. And unless one can grab him and stop him, he's pretty strong too, of course, because I think he's like 200 pounds or something, maybe 205, something like that. Probably, actually, maybe not, because actors a lot of times they look bigger. Let's say like 180, 190. I'll have to look it up where he's at right now, but it changes because in season 2 he was a lot more slim. He's a lot bulkier now. Maybe weight training or something. I don't know, but. I tend to think with Daryl, he'd probably get out of there. He'd probably push his way out. You know, it might be a little messy, but if they try to bite him, they got to go through his clothing, right? So, you know, to me, it seems like Daryl will probably be all right. You know, I think so. Also because he's such an important character in the series, and to a degree, he's got plot armor, right? So I think Daryl would get out of there. Now, Aron is the one you gotta be careful of, because Aron's pretty skinny, and he may not be able. He may be fast enough, but he may get grabbed by his backpack or something, or, you know, because he didn't even get his backpack out of there that time either. The tough thing would be the first push out, because they're all piled on, and at the beginning you got to push the door and you have to get them off and, you know, be able to get out yourself. So that's pretty tough. But I do think Daryl would get out. Aron, maybe not. Maybe he would get bitten. He'd probably find his way out, but he might get bitten once on the way, is what I'd probably say. You know, because I don't know if he's as strong as Daryl is. He doesn't seem like it, right? Ross Marquand is he's pretty skinny. I don't know how much force he would have when he goes to you know, to push. I don't know what he would bench, so I don't know. But Daryl seems Norman Reedus looks pretty buff to me, to tell you the truth. So yeah, so I think Daryl pushes his way out. It might be a little messy. He might get some you know, some cloth scraped or, you know, bitten, maybe part of it, but I don't think it would break the skin, and I think Daryl would make it. But that's just me being a Daryl fanboy, because he's my favorite character in the series. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Next one's from Shadowraider. He says, "Hey Trev, I noticed at the end of the episode one of the Wolves members had images of Rick and Carl, etc. I may have missed it, but do you know how they may have retrieved them?" Well, I believe the idea is that Aron drops his backpack that he had with him as they're escaping. I think that's the idea. Now, I'd have to watch it again to see the exact moment when it happens, because I don't remember it exactly, but that's the only way, because he carries that kind of stuff with him, right? He carries, like, the backpack. He carries that to show people, and it seems to me he must have dropped it in the chaos. So that's you know, me putting two and two together, although I don't recall the exact second, because it's so chaotic, and I was focusing on Morgan with his bow staff and everything, because that was awesome. Next one is from Psychotic Nova, and he says, "Hey Trev, I love your videos and have been a fan of yours since season 3. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for sticking with me since season 3. I do appreciate it." He says, "I wanted to know which season 5 episode you liked best." See, this is a tough question. 4 Walls and a Roof, Try, or Conquer. Keep up the great work. P.S. Can't wait for season 6 now. Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. I can't wait for season 6 too. It's going to be a tough wait. It's always a tough wait, right? But, you know, there's Game of Thrones, so that'll get us through a little while. And, you know, we'll have the trailer and stuff. So, you know, it's not too bad. But, and there's going to be the spinoff. So we can look forward to that, too. At least last couple of years, we haven't had that, right? After season 3, we didn't have that, you remember, right? Psychotic Nova. So that was a tough wait. For me, that was the hardest wait, was season 3 to 4. I don't know why. It just was. It was like I was making videos and I was just, oh, man, I almost got depressed for a bit. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? There's nothing to talk about, you know? Okay, so he says, which episode I liked best? 4 Walls and a Roof, Try, or Conquer? So I think he means just like overall from the season, which episode did I like best overall? Man, that is such a loaded and tough question. I may have to save that for a video where I rank all the episodes. You know what? I will. I will save that for a video. I will rank all of the episodes from this season, and you know, I'll put that together for you, man, because that's tough for me to pick. Like, which one did I like best? Because each episode has its own elements. Like, we just saw the finale. We got to see Morgan reunited with Rick. I almost called him Nick. Rick. We got to see, you know, where he's at right now and see him whoop some wolf ass. So it was, man, that was special to me, man, just to see. We've been waiting for so long. That was pretty special for me to see them reunite again. But then aside from that, Try had the sound, and the fight at the end was just amazing, right? Then you had Even Coda, which was a really good episode, aside from maybe the confusion about how Beth, or you know, how Beth was shot and what angle and that kind of stuff. Aside from that, you got Rick running a guy over, which was awesome, and you know, stop and runs him over. So man, there's been some awesome stuff this season. 4 Walls and a Roof. How about Sasha just freaking handing it to Martin? Man, oh my gosh, so brutal, and so I'm starting to like her a lot more now than I used to. And then there was the finale, or the season premiere, No Sanctuary. So how am I going to choose off the top of my head which one my favorite was of that? You got to wait, bro. I got to analyze. I got to think about that for at least 20 minutes first before I say it. Because if I say it and I'm like, this one's my favorite, you know, then I got to think about it. I'm sorry. I know I'm not answering your question right away. Wait for the ranking video. I'll do that for you, man. Not a problem. Lots of things to talk about the next couple weeks. That'll be one of them for you, man. And anybody else who's wondering what I think. Next one from Cigar Nika 89. He always asks awesome questions. He says, Q&A here. It doesn't make sense that 2 wolves would do all that stuff shown in second half of season 5. But even if there are only 2 wolves, do you think, Trev, they can attack Alexandria? Consider that they know already that the community is in the vicinity. Wolves found the pictures of Alexandria Aron dropped. There was a quick scene with the wolves looking at those pictures. They may use trailers to walker bomb Alexandria and steal supplies as the survivors are busy dealing with the threat. Well, you bring up a great point that they do use zombies. Like they're like the governor to that degree. They use everything they can find. They spare not even one drop of water and whatever Morgan was drinking there, instant whatever it was. They will not waste anything, it seems like, if they can help it. So with them, two wolves. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I don't think there are just 2 of them. And a lot of people have said this as well, and they agree with me with regards to this viewpoint. If it was only 2, how could they do all the different things they've done? Now, some people think that the lead wolf with the long hair said that we... and and said that he had more people. I don't remember an exact moment where he said that he actually had more than just them. He just said he referred to them as we, right? But from what we've seen them do, it seems more to me like maybe they separate off into pairs, right? And they go and they scavenge, right? So they don't all stay together. They split up, right? And then they have that home base, the booby trap place where they go back to, or someplace like that. So seems to me they have to have more than just the 2 to be a significant threat. Yes, they do have the semis. Yes, they could find a way to walker bomb Alexandria with a car or something and lead them there. Yes, they could, but I feel like they have to have more people. But anyway, we can focus more on that in a Wolves video where we just talk about them. But as villains, so far, I'm not that impressed with them. Not that impressed, I think they're decent, but they feel a little bit similar to stuff we've already seen. The Walker bomb with the governor and what he was doing with walkers, which has been done before. They feel a little bit like the Hunters, but not so much. Like to a degree, a little bit. They, especially the lead one seems similar to me to Martin, at least a little bit. I see a little bit of him in him, right? And then, so I'm assuming there has to be more of them. And we don't even know for sure if the guy with the long hair is the leader. He may just have been the kind of leader of that pair, right? Sort of, you have like cops to go out together, and you have like even Rick and Shane. You have your lead officer, and then you have the one who's like his support or his, learning from him or whatever. You know how it works. You have partners like that, right? A lot of times. We could see, I think that's probably the situation. So I think there are more wolves than what we saw there. Yeah, I do think so. Let's see. Let's do one more. I was just going on a bit. Let's see here. This one's from Itchy Gauze said, and he says, what will happen to Morgan during Season 6? On Talking Dead, even though he said that he will return for at least one episode, giving an implication that he will not show up often in Season 6, will Morgan die, leave for a while, or be off screen? So this is great. Great question from him. So we'll end with this one because I don't want to go on for too long in this video, and I got to do the death predictions for you guys, and that takes a few hours. So great question. So yes, he did. Lenny James had said that he'll be there for at least one episode. He didn't say how many episodes. He didn't say what's going to happen with that. Of course, we do know that he is fairly busy. However, with the group having so many different members now, if you look at Daryl, for example, this half season, Daryl really hasn't had, Norman Reedus has had other projects too he's been working on, and he didn't really have that much time this half season. You've had other characters that almost weren't even in an episode. Some people say Gabriel wasn't in like 2 episodes. He wasn't even there. The actor probably wasn't even on set at that time or something. Who knows, right? But, with him. So at least at the beginning, I think we have to see a lot from Morgan. I don't think he'll be killed off soon. No, I don't think so. But I do think that we'll see him quite a bit, at least in the first half. And then they may have to do something like that. But it depends. I mean, I think they can afford to pay Lenny James to keep him on as a season regular. And, of course, if they announce he's going to be a season regular, I'll let you guys know right away. But that news usually doesn't come for about 2 weeks to a month to 2 months after the end of the season. So I'll let you guys know when we hear that, but I'm expecting to see him as kind of a regular character for at least a few episodes, maybe 3 of 6 or 4 of 6 or something. The rest, maybe he could go off and kind of do his own thing. I guess that makes sense. They would have to find him a job or something, or who knows. maybe he's somebody that people could go and talk to, and he could provide them with advice, since Gabriel clearly can't do that well. So I don't know. He'd do a better job. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on Morgan right now. But I don't think they'll kill him off soon. We'll talk about that more in the death predictions video, since he just got back. And we kind of talked about that prior to. They set us up with some nice misinfo prior to the finale. So they did that well. And that was another thing you might have missed from episode 15. Check out the video if you want to see it, how they set that up. With some limbs that look just like Morgan's. So let me know what you guys think about all that, and what you thought about any different things that I might have missed even still, or we haven't talked about. Go ahead and write them in the comments below. Let's discuss them. And if you like the video, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share it, please favorite it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the death predictions. If you missed my review, my top 5 moments of the finale, or my predictions for season 6 of what I think we'll see overall, check them in the channel. Click the channel name below. You'll go ahead and see them, and you'll be able to watch them. So that's it for this one, guys. If you liked it, thumb it up, favorite it, share it. I would appreciate it. If you're new, you want to subscribe, you want to get these videos almost every day in your subscriber feed, bottom left, just click the subscribe. That's all you got to do. See you guys tomorrow. As always, it's Trev. Same peace.